This is the LG G4, LG's newest flagship, and this is my review of the G4. So this year's model, as well as the previous G phones, has always gone for the top of the line specs. The 4th edition coming with a Quad HD display, a 16 megapixel camera on the rear end, and 3GB of RAM, and a hexa-core Snapdragon 808 chip providing you with a smooth experience. I'll go into a little bit more detail with the specs, but when I first held the device, the first thing I noticed was the curved display. Now some people will take this for granted, but the curved display doesn't let your screen touch a flat surface when face down on a table. So scratches on the screen will never occur from a table, and if you happen to drop the phone, the slight curve will provide less of a shock as the display isn't completely flat. Obviously, don't go out and drop test your new LG G4, but this is probably one of the top reasons why LG decided to curve the display. So on the side of the phone, you have a glossy metallic finish, which does look nice, but it's definitely a fingerprint magnet. And holding the device with this glossy edge does scare me a little, as it could be slippery when my hands are sweaty. But with the curved display, it does help with the grip, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. The casing on the back has a variety of designs when you're looking to purchase this phone. This model I have specifically has a diamond texture on it, which I find to be very stylish, but there are some other leather casings out there which I wish I had instead of this one, but obviously I'm not cool enough to have those, so I can't compare, but it's fine. It's just a cover. So while we're on the topic of the back cover, it's actually one of the few phones that can still remove the cover and allow you to replace the back cover later in the future. You also have the ability to remove the battery containing 3000 mAh of battery life in it, and a slot for your micro SD card to expand the storage. Those are definitely 3 things that everybody wants in a smartphone: a removable battery, a cover, an expandable micro SD card, so I'm glad LG is paying attention. Taking a look at the buttons, I've never used a phone with buttons on the back. They've always been on the side for me, but I've gotten used to it right away. It almost seems as if smartphones should have done this from the beginning, but that's just my opinion. It's basically the volume buttons with the power button in between it. And obviously there's a different texture on the volume button and the power button, so you can tell which one button you're about to press without having to look at them. So taking a look at the display, it's a 5.5 inch Quad HD display, which in terms of resolution is 2560 by 1440. It's raising the bar to 538 pixels per inch. It's considered to be an IPS display, so this will provide you with greater color reproduction by up to 20%, 25% greater brightness improvement, and 50% greater contrast than the LG G3 without using much of your battery life. So in other words, this display is really gorgeous when you're watching videos, playing video games, probably one of the best displays on the market with the S6 competing at its side. And obviously this may not be a good comparison, but if you compare the LG G4 display with my Nexus 6, you can see how much better the colors look on the G4. So taking a look at what actually comes with the device, software wise, you have Android 5.1 Lollipop with LG Skin on top. As far as bloatware, LG gave us a break and pre-installed mostly necessary applications. So of course you're going to have their calendar, their clock application, an LG Health application to keep track of how many steps you've taken, an application called VoiceNeat, which is sort of like Google Now, and it actually works pretty well, but I just find Google Now to be slightly better. It does everything much faster, and it tends to do tasks much better. And of course, since LG's interface is on top, extra features are provided, such as a settings called Smart Settings, which allows you to change your sound, turn on your Bluetooth, or toggle Wi-Fi when you leave your home. Maybe when you plug in your earphones, you can open your music automatically. Another feature, which is pretty cool, is Dual Window. It allows you to split your screen into 2 applications so you can multitask with applications that support this. I would probably only use this if I was watching an informative video and I wanted to take notes down, but other than that, I won't be using this feature a lot. You can also rearrange your on-screen buttons with up to 5 buttons maximum, so you can have a button for the dual windows, a Q slide button which just brings up a menu of LG apps that come in handy. When you actually tap on one of the applications, it pops up like a little window, just like on a PC or a Mac, or even a quick memo button to automatically draw over your current screen and jot notes down. Pretty creative stuff, and if you don't like the black background, you can change it to white. It's your choice. The buttons can be white or black, it doesn't matter. You can have double tap to wake or lock your device, so you don't have to keep on pressing the power button on the backside. When the device is off, you can actually have this feature where you slide your finger down on the top of the screen to peek at the time and any other notifications. And if you double tap the volume down button on the back of the phone, you can open the camera and take a picture. Or if you double tap the volume up button, you can open a note memo to quickly take notes down. So honestly, the overall performance of this device is smooth because it has 3 GB of RAM, so I can have a bunch of applications open and I won't experience any lag. I played some games, browsed the web, and went on social media applications, text, called, with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled, and I still experience smoothness. So with the battery life on the LG G4, there are 2 things you should know. Qualcomm's quick charging is supported, so if you want to charge the phone extremely fast, it's there, but there is no wireless charging supported, so if you have a key charging station, you may have to put it away and pull out the wires instead. Nonetheless, the battery life is pretty average, and I get around 4 hours of screen on time until I have to recharge my phone, so it's not bad, but it's not great. With the great display and all its cool features, it's worth it. But with the standby time, I was surprised to see that the device would barely use any battery life at all. The phone would just be off for a couple of hours and probably only use 1 or 2% of my battery life. So with the battery life on the G4, it's just average when you're actually using the device, but when you forget to charge it overnight or mostly leave it off throughout the day, it won't eat up a lot of battery life, which is a lifesaver for most. Now on to the anticipated camera, and I have to credit LG for providing one of the best cameras to this device. On the back, the camera is already bigger than the buttons, which already says a lot. You have a sensor with an f1.8 aperture wider than any other competitor on the market, a laser autofocus on the left side of the camera so you can focus extremely fast. You have a single LED flash on the right side of the device, and right underneath that flash you have a color spectrum sensor. The camera application in the G4 in auto mode provides you with the basic options: flash, HDR, timer, a grid, and most of the features from the G3 on the camera are still here on the G4. You have dual, which allows you to take a picture of whatever is in front of you and a reaction of your face using the front-facing camera. Obviously, you have panorama mode, and you can go into manual mode as well and have similar settings to a DSLR camera, so you can edit the ISO, the white balance, manual focus, the shutter speed. If you're into photography, you would love this camera with the option to take raw photos. Most people will appreciate this, so later on they can edit the colors or details of a picture. The front-facing camera also has an 8 megapixel camera, which makes you look great when taking a selfie. You have the option of putting up your hand and closing it once to take a picture, and there's a slider which basically smooths out your face to make it look better. And overall, if you want to take a selfie with your friends, this is not a bad choice at all. So here are some pictures I've taken. You can see the details of the pictures are great. Colors look fantastic. Anything I take a picture of, you can see the details greatly. And the fact that the shutter speed is so fast, you will most likely always get the shot. Even at night, for those low light shots, I got some decent pictures where I could see what I took a picture of and what I was doing that night. So overall, I love this camera. The shots I take are great, definitely a top competitor, and I can't complain in this aspect. So this phone is a great competitor. I definitely love the performance, the battery standby, the neat features provided by LG, and of course the camera. Obviously, I would rather go for stock Android over the LG interface, but that's just my opinion. Don't get me wrong, this phone is one of the best out there. Definitely, if you're looking for a device to upgrade, the LG G4 isn't a bad choice at all, and I highly recommend checking it out when it's released. That's my review of the LG G4. Thank you guys for watching my video. I know I'm a little late in the game for this device, but hopefully I brought something different to the table, as this is my first review of a phone. This is my official first review. So definitely let me know what you think about this device in the comments, and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Kapow!